Welcome to the Be That Healing Girl podcast. And today on this episode, we're going to talk about what I am still healing even as a relationship coach. So, a little sneaky peek in here on what it's really like. And I think this episode is going to really land for you if you are frustrated at all with your healing process. And you might be thinking to yourself, why am I not healing? I've listened to all of Claire's podcast episodes. Or maybe you fall back into a familiar pattern with your partner or yourself. Maybe you fall back into overthinking, or you notice that you're falling back into the same fight with your partner, or maybe you catch yourself taking certain actions and then you fall back or you lose traction and it just feels like it's not sticking at all. Then this episode is going to really help you, and I want to give you some really clear insight to help you navigate if you're tending to beat yourself up. So if you're new here, my name is Claire. I'm a relationship coach and I love helping high performing, high achieving girlies. So maybe you're an academic, you have letters behind your name, doctor, lawyer, RNs with, I know a lot of nurses with like a lot of letters behind their name. Or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you have multiple businesses, or you've got one big business, like 17 real estate doors or more. Or maybe you're a corporate climber and you are director level, or you've got $15 million of salespeople or sales that you've got under your bill. And if that is all you, and you are achieving in life, but you are feeling super anxious in your relationship and you are making up fake scenarios, you are worrying about every little thing, feeling the vibe, oh my gosh, is the vibe off? Then sweetheart, you are in the right spot. Really excited to talk to you today about healing and what that actually means. And if you are enjoying this episode or any other episode, leaving a 5-star on Apple or Spotify means so much. Seriously, it's my high five from you to me for the awesome episodes, and I really appreciate it. It means so much. And at this point, when this episode drops, I'm either on the mountain communing with nature and being silent for I don't even know how long, because I just have a lot to say. I got a lot of words. I'm a Sag. And I can't wait to kind of give you guys all the downloads. So really super excited to share that. And I also just want to say, little catch up is, I'm kind of worried about this whole process on this retreat because I have been having some major issues with hormones and the lady stuff down there, and Craig was so sweet. So I don't know what's going on, but it feels like maybe my mom's a general practitioner and she was like, you might want to get an MRI. And my stomach, and I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in the frickin' 90s. Basically everybody was wearing low riders, hip huggers, and like basically they're almost their crotch. And maybe, quite honestly, if we look close enough, we probably saw some crotches hanging out. So to me, the low belly area seems really tender, feels really delicate. And I was noticing it's like really swollen, more so than ever during my lady time. And Craig was just so sweet, and he's been taking care of me and watching it and like just being super sweet, which is like so important. Obviously self-love, but having a supportive partner. And he's like, you probably need to get checked out. So just kind of updates on that. I think I mentioned this before, but I'm looking into different avenues for health. I'm a big believer of science. That's a big deal. Like, we want to go to science, and I'm also into some homeopathic acupuncture things. So if anybody has any experience with PCOS, endometriosis, then please let your girl know. What are your symptoms? DM me, because I don't know. I think something's going on. But let's dive into it, and let's talk about the healing process. And actually, it's funny that I made this podcast title because I've actually felt really inclined to move away from the word healing, because a lot of times what I see, and I've even noticed in myself, quite honestly, is that healing is portrayed as this end zone place that you'll be healed, and everything will be fine. And I just feel like that's it's a game, and it can feel really defeating. And it can feel like if I don't make it to a certain milestone or a certain threshold, then something is certainly wrong. And what I have really come to understand is healing it's like a flower that keeps blooming. and or a beautiful painting that you see in different light and you see in different perspectives or different areas of a room. So we went to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum in Santa Fe, and she kept painting just like these very common areas of her house. And what I thought was so beautiful about that was her ability to see something different. And that to me is art, it's beauty, and it's actually the healing process where it's not about you get somewhere totally different necessarily. It's being in the spot you're at and seeing things differently. To me, that's like the epitome of healing. And I was thinking about this whole process because to go to this retreat, you have to participate in the cleanse. And I thought for a moment where I was reflecting during the cleanse, and truthfully, I had anticipated more friction than I've experienced with Craig. I don't know where the wood is, but like, because we're still kind of in it. And I remember I caught myself thinking, wow, like we have not fought. Like, I mean, yeah, we've had like tiny things, but really overall, it's been pretty smooth sailing. And that was the moment that I caught myself. And I thought about this episode because that old stinking thinking of, wow, that if we're not fighting, it's good. Like I've won. We're doing it. That no fighting, no friction is good. And that I think is a healing trap. And to me, it was such an obvious place of recognizing the area that I could spend more time looking at. And I definitely will on this retreat, where this trap of, oh, no fighting means something good. And what I have understood, and it's showing me these places that I still need to heal, like, because nobody's perfect, that when we look at conflict or disagreement, it's not the absence of conflict that creates a good relationship. In fact, I get very worried. I get very, very worried when people say we don't fight, because that's not real, guys. That's not life. You are going to have differences. I hope you have differences, because you don't want to be dating the same exact person, a replica. And then my question would be, if you're not fighting, then who is making themselves small? Who is not standing up for what they want? What's happening? So one thing that I think is really beautiful about being in a healing process and understanding that this is a practice, it's a practice, not a perfection. And when I really see anxious attachment very similar to what I'm not an expert in this, but an alcoholic, right? I'm not an expert, but I've watched a lot of interventions. I love that show. And it's not like you totally eliminate this desire to drink. That's why people have sponsors. That's why you go to meetings, even if you've been sober for 20 years, that it's part of you. It's a dis-ease. And I also feel in many ways having relationship anxiety, having anxious attachment is being at ease. It's a dis-ease. You're not at ease. And so, like, if we can make a similar comparison, and I'm not an expert in alcoholism, so I'm just saying, but I can see there is similarities, that it's a part of you, whether you got exposed to alcohol at a young age, or for anxious attached people, there was something unreliable or unpredictable, that it's part of your makeup. Literally, it's actually part of who you are. And this is also how I know that even I'm married, we have a really great marriage, loving, secure attachment together, that I can notice my anxious attachment will flare up with sometimes friendships, right? I feel, like a little ping of like, oh they didn't get back to me. Are they mad? Or a little ping around work. And so notice that in yourself too, because I can see this across the board. And what's cool about when I work with one-on-one clients, they can directly report, they notice this in all areas of their life, because it's not just singular to your relationship, but that's the thing that's really like honking at you. But it's not just your relationship, it's in work, it's in friendships. And so one of the things that I have noticed is that when we kind of can understand that this is part of us, this is part of who we are, it's part of our makeup, then there's like a level of acceptance that this is not going to go away. We just get better at handling it. We get better at addressing it. When the trigger comes up, you handle it better. This is not the absence of triggers. Y'all, I love you. Life is triggering, okay? Relationships, all relationships have potential and that are ripe for triggers, okay? Go home for the holidays. I don't know about you, but really prime time to be triggered. And so what I really see healing as, and what I am an advocate for, and I'm proud to do it alongside you, is that we have to tend our garden, right? Healing is this process. It's like, yeah, you might pick all the weeds, but give it a week. Give it a couple days. We're in this, and you might be in the process of you're just learning how to plant. You're learning how to put seeds down, and the tomatoes died over there, and that relationship didn't do great. And this is part of it. This is part of healing, that we learn how to tend the garden. We learn how to plant. And so just like gardening, you talk to somebody who's been gardening, has practice, has built a beautiful garden. It's taken them time and they failed. They've killed stuff, they've killed tomatoes, whatever, and relationships haven't worked out. So I think it's really important that when we look at healing, you're not gonna do well if you beat yourself up. I was, in fact, thinking about a one-on-one client. I just had a session with her today, and she is already a month in, so much success. She's noticing her triggers. She's recognizing them, able to stop them. And then one time she wasn't able to, and then she recognized she was beating herself up. We discovered that what made the spiral worse was that she was shaming herself for that. Guess what's going to dysregulate you? Guess what's going to put you right back in a spiral? It's your how you shame yourself, how you make yourself wrong. And so when we can really accept that healing is a practice, it's not a perfection, you're going to 10x how you feel. You're going to 10x feeling confident, feeling more secure, feeling more safe in yourself. And that's what I want for you. Okay? So speaking of which, one of the healing processes that I love working on is overthinking. And obviously the Healing Girl Gang, this is one of the things we work on, but a whole month, the month of August, is all about specifically overthinking. We do an overthinking detox every month, but we're deep diving into it. We're going to go over the how, the why in depth, step by step. Super excited. And speaking of Healing Girl Gang, it's time for the question and answer box. And the Healing Girl Gang members the gangstas get to ask a question that I answer on the pod, along with opportunities to get coached in the membership. So Vanessa asks, my partner for 5 years has avoidant attachment. I feel you. This is the first time he has asked me for some time and space and requested me to go with the flow. Ooh, that's a hard one for us control freak, anxiously attached girlies who are high achievers. I told him that I understood that, but I've been spiraling since then. I've been trying to give him his space with occasional check-ins, but is not getting any replies or callbacks. Okay, little typo. I know he wants his space and I should give it to him, but it's so hard. I feel you. I think he is purposely not getting back to me so he can have that space, as I haven't been properly giving the space to him on my own. He has a lot of other things going on in his life. I will say that again. I think it's important that you hear me say that to you, Vanessa, that he's got a lot of other things going on in his life, okay? Such as a new manager, promotion, and family obligations. Well, congratulations to him. I know he's stressed, but I'm stressed too. I'm just not sure what to do since it wasn't communicated with me how long he would need space, and I didn't realize it would be this long. It's been a month. My anxiety has been on an all-time high, not knowing if I'd ever hear back from him. So lots of love, a lot of compassion. In fact, I feel like we could all use a nice deep breath to that. Into the nose, holding it. Long exhale. Oh yeah, just letting it all breathe out. And just taking a moment to move your body. I can feel my stomach clench with that, and taking a moment, slowing down. If it's even in your AirPods, sure. Then good. Take a moment. So you're in the unknown. That's not fun. I get that. And this is the place where there's so much opportunity for many things. And there's also opportunities for growth, and there's all opportunities for us to learn some wisdom here. And so, one thing that seems important, and I repeated it twice for you, and I'm going to repeat it a third time, is that he's got a lot of other things going on. And right before that, you said, I think he's purposefully not getting back to me. And what I would like to say to that is, do you actually feel like that? Do you feel like he's a malicious person that is wanting to hurt you? Because if that is true, then that is something to look at. Okay? Now, I'm going to guess that's likely not happening. All right? That you've been together for 5 years. I don't imagine staying in a committed relationship with somebody for 5 years if you think they're a dick bag. Okay? I don't think a lot of you will have the tolerance to date somebody for 5 years if they're a bag of dicks. All right? So what I think is also just important is that maybe you're taking this personal. And that's not a accusation, it's an inquiry. Like, are you taking this personal? Because it's clear that you're aware, you have some awareness that he's got a lot of things going on. And you've got to really sit with it. Is he trying to hurt you, or is that just what you feel? And it feels like a punishment, because distance and space is not a punishment. Okay. And I get it. For somebody who craves, when your safety mechanism gets turned on, it feels like you want that closeness, and it makes a lot of sense. And just because somebody doesn't give you that closeness at the time frame that you want doesn't mean anything about you. Now, I'm kind of being careful because there's a lot of nuance to this. I don't know a lot. And even though you wrote a very beautiful paragraph, there's probably a lot more context that I need to see. But I would say that, yeah, I mean, if it's been a month, I think it's reasonable to touch base now and get curious. And I feel like maybe you were trying to call yourself out here. I haven't really been giving him space. Well, it's kind of like, okay, we can make an assumption. I'm not a good person at growing stuff. Like, I am not good. My mom is really good. I'm horrible. And my assumption about growing a seedling is that you don't want to poke it too much, right? There's like stuff going on. It's trying to grow. Well, you don't want to overfeed it, overwater it, too much sun, fry it. So it seems like that what he asked for was delicate. I would also imagine, with the feeling that I'm getting, and I don't know, it's just a feeling, that it's conscious, that some people just shut off. They just don't say anything. They can't. Their mechanism of pulling away is so strong, they don't even have the space to ask for that. So it's great that he asked for that. And I feel like there's maybe something to look into around, well, if he asked for it, but it feels like you're calling yourself out a little bit around, I really didn't give him that space. Well, that's something to look at too. And I think it's reasonable to say, I'm a big proponent of, hey, let's talk about it. It doesn't mean that we have to get right back into the same swing, and a curious, hey, how's it going? And I think the most important thing with that is really getting clear on, where is it coming from? Are you entering that conversation from a place of fear, a place of impatience, a place of demand? Because that's not going to go well. I will tell you firsthand, that's not going to go well. You have to really have cultivated an inner place of safety, of understanding how to ground yourself and how to come from a neutral space. And that's something that we work on in the Healing Girl Gang, and it's something that doesn't always come easy, and sometimes needs more personal attention. So I would consider that. So if you do want to have, hey, like a tap on the shoulder, you're going to have the best result when you come from a place of groundedness, neutrality, internal clarity. Okay? So that's my 2 cents. And if you want to come to the training, and I'm happy to coach you more on that and get your insight and a little bit more on that. Okay, angels, thinking of you, be gentle with yourself as you heal. Be gentle. It is a process, not a perfect. Sending you lots of love.